Soccer Show. I'm DV LeBron. Today I have a very special guest, Mr. Sean Kelley, who is running for ROISD School Board Place 5. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you guys today?
Good, good. So we've been dealing with a little bit of tech issues, but we're on and going. And I appreciate your patience, Mr. Kelley. I know that can be interesting, but I wanted to ask you to go ahead and introduce yourself to the people of Red Oak.
Okay. Hey, my name's Sean Kelley. I'm running for Place 5. And a little bit about me. I'm a 1994 graduate of Red Oak. I went to school here since I was in the third grade. I actually married my high school sweetheart and been married to her for 25 years. She's also a Red Oak graduate, graduated here in 1993. I have a daughter that graduated here in 2021. She was a 12-year senior. And then I have a eighth grader who is currently at our middle school. And uh, for me, I kind of enjoy hunting and fishing and watching my girls play softball, which my oldest daughter playing college softball, and my youngest daughter who's actually playing select, plays on actually the number one team in the state right now in select. And then for me, other than hunting and fishing and playing golf, I am a full-time fireman, paramedic. I'm also a licensed police officer. So I spend a lot of time studying and on my days off. It's kind of what I do.
Oh, well, I want to thank you, and I tell every candidate this, thank you for, wanting to improve your community and wanting to serve. And then thank you for being a firefighter, an inherently dangerous job. Firefighters protect and save every day. And that is a noble profession. Thank you so much for serving in that. So I wanted to ask you, why do you want to run for school board?
So the reason I'm running is I have a vested interest here. I still have a daughter who goes to school here, and being an alumnus is important to me. The part of giving back to our community, even more than what I do being a fireman, but being a part of the school district. And, I already do things in the community as it is. I'm vice president of the Baseball and Softball Association, so I work with kids a lot at the baseball and softball field. Um, I do some mentoring at the school. I've been a substitute teacher at the school, and I just kind of enjoy that. My wife, who is a teacher also, so I kind of got with it at that point. And the reason I'm running is just being able to give back, and that's what I think we should do is give back. I grew up here and was educated publicly by our school, and so it's another way for me to give back.
Okay, so your wife is a school teacher.
She is. She's actually an administrator for Red Oak.
Okay.
She teaches teachers how to use new technology.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Now, it's something that I got to ask you because
Okay.
there'll be some concern. Will there be any conflict of interest there?
I don't believe so. My wife is she's in the technology department. She helps with technology, and that's kind of what she does. She did teach in the classroom for 15 years, and so I kind of get that whole mentality. We still have real good friends that are school teachers that are in the district, and so I get to when all the girls get together, I get to listen to all the teachers talk about things that they need or things that they want, and those are kind of things that just kind of interest me on how we can make that better and how we can make their lives easier.
Well, that's definitely technology is a thing, and it's really here, and it's something that the kids have to learn definitely. So, do you have the time because you have softball and you're a firefighter? Do you have the time to invest in a school board? I mean, there's a lot of documents you got to read, a lot of meetings, a lot of events. Do you have that kind of time?
So I believe I do. We work 10 days a month, 24-hour shifts, and then we're off for 2 days, 24, 48 is how we do it. And, on my days off, I already, attend after school programs. I'm a sports guy, so I do Friday night football. My wife coached the high school drill team for a long time. So I've been to dance recitals and um, the choir concerts. I sang in the choir whenever I was in school from the time I was in the fifth grade till the time I graduated. So I enjoy those type of things, and I enjoy being around the kids. And with my kids still being there, um, I get a chance to be a part of it. I spent last week or 2 weeks ago at the Ellis County livestock show. My youngest daughter shows in the FFA. So I do believe I have plenty of time. I do enjoy reading the the documents. It's very therapeutic. It's very different from what I do on a regular basis. So it is kind of therapeutic.
Oh, I mean that's a word. I've never heard that in 3 years that I've been doing this little show. I've never heard that paperwork being therapeutic. But hey, it is. I mean, I love that. So, what is the proper role of the school board in the lives of the people of Red Oak and the children?
Well, I think as a school board member, your job or your duty is to listen and listen to what they need or what they want, and those are two different things. And I'll tell you, those are kind of what I've lived and died by in my whole campaign was the difference between needs and wants. And so for me, I think that you as a school board member, you're there to listen, be a good trustee. That's what the title is, a school board trustee, and it's being able to um, have the trust of the community and the teachers and the parents and the students. But you got to be there to listen and be a good trustee, be transparent, and that's me. I'm very transparent, and I don't mind saying the things that are tough and being real. And I think that that's what we need at this point.
It is something that's definitely honesty is appreciated, along with along with in general solutions. You know, it's always good to be open and stuff, but having those solutions are definitely important. So how and I asked you, I did ask you that. So I wanted to ask you, how important is it to you to be transparent?
So transparency, I think, is the key. And people always, I listen to the folks in the community, and they're like, "Well, we don't like what has happened in the past." Well, you know, I can honestly say that I can't help what happened in the past, but I can sure help the future. I can't fix what was done in the past, but I can make sure that it doesn't happen again. And so transparency is a big deal for me. In the fire service, we actually are very transparent on how we do things and are very upfront and straightforward and to the point.
Mhm.
And that's the way I am. And sometimes it gets me in trouble because I am a very outspoken person when I'm asked, and very transparent. And I don't mind saying the things that you probably don't want to hear, but um, is reality. And sometimes we don't always deal in reality, but in my expertise, we deal in reality and what goes on now. And
Right.
so that's where I think that I'm different, and I am okay with being transparent as much as possible.
So, Mr. Kelley, you're going to have to deal with people who disagree with the decisions you make if you are elected to the school board. There's so many decisions that are made, taxes and growth and everything, and we're going to cover some of that. But you're going to be required to make decisions, and people are not going to like that very much. How are you going to deal with the people who don't agree with you, but you still represent them?
Well, I think that's tough, and I tell everybody all the time that it's hard to make five grown men happy what we're going to eat at the fire station. Uh, so I'm never going to make everybody happy, and I think that you have to listen to the majority, be a team player. I think those are listen to the majority and go with what you feel is in your heart. And um, like I said, you're never going to make everybody happy. I don't think we can, and that's where you just kind of have to go with kind of go with the gut and go with what you feel is the best and the best interest of the students and the staff. It's not about me, and that's the part that I want to make sure everybody understands. It's never about me. It's about you trusting me, and that's where I'm at. with that.
So no hidden agendas. It's all
No
about
hidden agendas. I'm not a.
yeah,
It's all
that's good.
about students and staff for me, and because I, I look at the whole politician thing is all about what's in the best interest of my family, and that being, what's going to make it our lives easier. And I look at it as what can I do to make their life easier, a student or a staff member. And I think that's what I think that's what it's all about.
There's been a there's been some talk throughout the United States, and we're not immune to it, about some inappropriate books that may have shown up in the library, and different libraries are getting it. It is happening. There are bills. Matter of fact, there's a bill right now that just went through on the Texas legislator, basically taking out books that were sexually explicit. So, can you speak on that as a board member? How will you respond to something like that? Maybe a parent approaching you saying, "Hey, this there was a really nasty book in there."
Well, I think our staff does a pretty good job about going through our books, and you know, I think there's classic books that are out there that we no longer teach, and I think that's uh, the way the world has changed and how people approach things have changed. You and I grew up reading, Huck Finn, and we no longer read that in school, and so those things, I think the school district has done a pretty good job about going through and the books regularly, yearly, and making sure that we are pulling the books that are controversial or things that people don't like. I think you got to listen to the majority and move on. And I think that's difficult because some of those classic books are tough,
They can be
tough to
raunchy
get rid
too.
of.
Yeah, and
Yes, yeah,
there's a lot of things that go into that. So I wanted to I the other thing that comes up is the conversation on CRT and its derivatives or its tentacles going into the school. Not so much obviously they're not teaching the critical race theory class that they would teach in college. Obviously, that's not happening. What some parents have voiced concern about is some of the ideologies that come out of that getting into the schools. What is your thoughts on that? On putting ideology in schools in any form?
Well, I think that from a board member's point, I think that, well, I know that Texas puts out a TEKS, and the teachers are supposed to be teaching the TEKS. And I think that we do a good enough job with that. I know it's not in the curriculum, and I know that it's not there. Um, so if that is happening, I would love to see that because I've listened to that comment multiple times over the last couple of years. And my question to those people is, show me where that's being taught, or show me where it's happening. And I think the uh, administration staff, long before it gets to the school board, needs to be handling that. And the teach portion of it, I think that our teachers do a really good job of teaching the teach and sticking with the teach. And it's put on the board every day of what teach that they are teaching under. And so I'm a firm believer that that's not happening here. And if it is happening, only thing I ask is that if bring it forward, and let's not make accusations of something that's not happening.
So you're definitely open to listening, but bring the facts. It's kind of what
That's
you're saying.
it.
Bring the
Yeah,
facts.
bring it. I don't want to say prove it to me or show it to me, because there's all kinds of rumors about that stuff. And so my thing is that just bring it forward. And if you're bringing it forward, then we can address that. And if it is, then we'll make sure that it is not happening. But as far as anybody who's ever brought that comment to me or asked me about it, only thing I tell you is just bring me a fact and bring me some literature on it happening here at our school.
Red Oak ISD is changing quite a bit. The population, obviously, there's socioeconomic problems, but there's also a shift in um, the ethnic background of the schools now. The different folks that you're getting in, and minorities that are coming in. As a board member, what would you like to see to make the schools a welcoming place for people of all color?
I, I think that the our school is very diverse, culturally diverse, race diverse. We have a big Muslim community in the Glen Heights area, um, and so those are different different cultures. I think that everybody's welcome at our school. We have no problem with our uh,
Right.
uh, I guess staff being culturally diverse. I think that we do a pretty good job being culturally diverse. Our administration class or the administrators, I think we're very pretty diverse with female, males, and race. Somebody that they feel that they may be able to go to a little easier than somebody else. So I believe that we're pretty open and loving community. I believe, and I think that our culture has changed here a lot since I went to school here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, it definitely has changed. Um, so what what would you like to do? Because there's a major problem in all school districts. All school districts are facing this teacher shortage, getting the right talent in. If you were, if you're elected to the board, what is some of the things you'd like to talk to with the superintendent about getting teachers in?
So other than just pay, I mean, teachers are so underpaid as it is, and they're I don't. I've never understood the whole philosophy with paying teachers less than we do some other places, but uh, teacher pay is a big deal to make sure that we're competitive. And right now, we are just over the state average in our pay. Um, some better benefits for our staff. I will tell you that insurance for school districts is very expensive. Insurance in general is expensive, but it's even more expensive in a school district, not just ours, but all of them. Um, so we need to try to maybe do a little extra incentives for making sure that we're at work a little bit more because we are in not just a teacher shortage. We're also a shortage in school bus drivers. We're also a shortage in substitute teachers. That maybe we can do something, a bonus on trying to be here at work. Um, I think something that Red Oak does that is a big plus is that we have our Little Hawks daycare that is open for our staff, and that is a big benefit. They that the school is that daycare is opened for the same amount of time that the teachers are in school, and so I think that's a big benefit for our our staff.
Hmm.
Um, so I would like to see a little bit better insurance. I enjoy our Little Hawks, the Little Hawks daycare for our staff. That is a big deal, um,
Sometimes those
and
little those little
maybe some sort of incentive.
yeah.
Yeah, the little things make a difference. Just the daycare alone, we have teachers that take advantage of it, and we have some that don't.
Hmm.
Um, it's
So
same thing as anybody else at their job. There's some
some of the
advantages and disadvantages.
one of the things that have been coming up were teachers going to a 4-day work week, 4 10s, or some kind of modified schedule for the teachers. Briefly, because I want to cover taxes, budget, and close out. What is your thoughts on adjusting a schedule to 410 and how it might affect families?
So I know that that's a big topic right now, and I know the legislators just actually came back and put um, some new hours that they had to do. And some of the other districts around us are going to that 4 day, and I think that Red Oak did a really good job this year on staying the 5 day staying 5 day to make sure that we got enough of the new CTE hours that are required, and they gave some really good breaks, and so we did lower it the from last year. I believe Miss Sanford told us that they lowered the amount of hours from or teacher work days from like 187 to like 182, something like that. So the teachers will get a few uh, extra days that is not contracted, but still be paid on the same uh, teacher contract. So I think the school district has done pretty good about making sure that we stay within our state boundaries, but uh, gave some extra reprieve days for the students and staff.
Okay. So taxes, the biggest in Texas, there's some serious structural issues with taxes and how we fund schools in general. I was told once when I was working on an interview with MISD that two people in the state actually really understand the convoluted way our schools get funded. So that's pretty bad if only two people really
Yeah.
understand it. So, but taxes are a big issue. And so, valuations have gone up. Um, and so people are paying more and more, and their mortgage payments keeps moving up more. What are your thoughts in general on taxing? And if you're on the board, what are some innovative ways you'd like to do to save people money on their property taxes?
Uh, the bad tax question. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes taxes.
No.
And I'll tell you what. As a taxpayer here, and like I said, I grew up here, and I've watched mine um, go sky high too. And property taxes are something that I can't control. The tax rate for the school district, we can control, and I don't want to pay anything more than anybody else. And um, if we don't fix some things, then by passing a bond or one of those things, I believe that there is no alternate deal but to raise our school taxes. Um, but I don't want to pay anything more. This is a great opportunity now for us to kind of hold where we're at with our school taxes. And actually, the school district has actually lowered our tax rate the last couple of years, little by little. And it's our property taxes that have continued to go up and up. And um, we do need the legislator needs to do some stuff with our property taxes.
Mhm.
I think we can only pay so much. And at some point or another, we're going to have to, we're going to have to give in. But the legislator is going to have to help us with that a little bit.
Okay. So the bond, that's the biggest topic that's going on. If you're online, you have seen the vitriol that come, and it's just going both ways. There's signs being cut. There's all kinds of things going on. This is like I covered the last bond, and I had a pro and against on the show, and they covered the topics because I do information. I don't do opinion. I don't, it's not the me show. So I had them on and they discussed it, but this is like the third or fourth time that our Red Oak is trying to pass the bond. Before I kind of get into the little bit of the particulars and numbers and stuff, um, what reason do you think? Why is Red Oak ISD having such a hard time convincing the public to take on bond debt?
Well, I think when we see signs out that say, tax hike coming or tax hike soon or, vote no, I think that we have done a little better job this go around about educating the public on needs versus wants and um, how much of a need that we have for this. So, the M&O budget, the maintenance and operation is what the M&O stands for, is paid for, is how we pay teacher salaries and operations, being the school. So I will tell you that you we don't have enough money in that account to pay for a new school. So it goes out for a bond. Well, when you send that out for a bond, it gets there's a difference between having financial debt personally and school debt. And when you buy a new home, unless you're paying cash for a home, you're going to take out a mortgage. This is the same thing as a mortgage. Our bond is the same thing as a mortgage to pay for our new building. So I am in favor of the bond, and I believe that this is not a this is a need. This is not a want, and so for me, that is a big deal. And the middle school right now is it's crowded. It's full. There's a security issues with it, and as a licensed police officer, that is that's dangerous for me, and with the way the world is right now, and so this is a need, not a want, and I think that we have done a really good job about um, passing out and being transparent about what we need and not as much as what we want.
Okay. So, you know, does it worry you? And this is a concern that people have expressed. The amount of debt that the school district has now, which I don't know the number off the top of my head, but the what they have now, and what if they issue this $97 million in bonds, that adds on top of that. That could that debt, people are scared of that debt, that big amount of debt, that big number. So what would you do to assuage the concerns of parents of ROISD with this if you were elected?
Well, I look at it that there's no dollar amount that I'm not willing to pay for the safety of my kid. I look at it like that. If you've been through our school, or you have a kid that's fixing to come to the middle school, um, it's crowded. I'm gonna let you know up front. It's crowded, and I'm willing to pay whatever I need to make sure that when I leave to go to work to the fire station, um, that I know that my kid is going to be safe. It's going to be a safe environment, a good learning environment, and I'm willing to pay that. Um, Somebody did it for me. I look at it like that. I was a part of the new wing, which is now the middle school. I was a part of the new wing that opened in '94 on that middle school, and so somebody paid it for me, and we have to continue to keep paying it forward to the next group. Um, I don't want to pay anything more in taxes than anybody else. I'm a taxpayer. I live here, so for me, I'm willing to do it. Um, and if that is one less stop at you know the convenience store to get something to drink, or one less stop, or one less time going out to eat, and we eat at home, then I'm willing to do that, because there's no money that I'm willing not to pay for the safety of my kid and a teacher that is in that classroom.
Right, right. You happen to like that person, love that person. You know what I mean? So I wanted to,
No, that's it.
before I close out, I want to talk to you real quick. Obviously there's been a lot of school shootings. Uvalde, the school in Tennessee. There's been too many kids that have been, massacred at school. So I wanted to ask you, um, what are your thoughts on security? Will you be proactive in making sure that the school district is doing what it needs to do to keep the children safe?
So I will. That is a priority for me. I deal in safety every day, and so for me, it is about keeping our kids safe. Everybody, when they leave to go to work, or they leave to they drop off their kid at school, wants to know that their kid is there safely, and that they are safe at school.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's a huge deal for me, and I want to make sure that we are at the forefront. We're moving forward with our safety program, and we have a police department. Not only do we have police department that is on our school, that has their own TCO license, that are licensed police officers. We also have a few security guards there too. But we do have our own police department, and somebody on every campus that is there. So I am about making sure that your kid is safe and your wife or your husband while they're at work are safe. So I will make sure that we're good. We're good with that.
Yeah, and that it's just such a topic that has to be. I mean, it is the new reality with dealing with these crazy people, mentally deranged people coming into our school and harming our kids. Totally an evil act, totally devilish. But this is the part where you get to talk to the people of Red Oak directly. I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna let you talk to them as we close out.
Okay. So hey guys, I am a down to earth person. I am a listener. I am a person that you can pick up the phone and call, go have coffee with, and I listen. I want to be an advocate for you and uh, and be transparent. I am that person. I'm willing to stand up for you if you're willing to give me the opportunity. Um, I appreciate the opportunity to be on here, and I encourage you to vote. If you don't vote for me, uh, there are two other candidates that I feel are good, and so I encourage you to make sure that you go and vote. That's important. That you're right as a voter to be informed. Make a good decision, and if you're not sure one way or another, please do some research. Make a phone call, not just to the school, but ask a neighbor, ask somebody you see a sign or out. Pull up to the house and ask them, "Hey, look, tell me about why you're voting yes, or tell me why you're not voting no," and see if they can answer a question for you. But be informed, be prepared. New voting or early voting starts next week, and thank you.
Well, you know what? It definitely it's abysmal, the voting that happens in Ellis County. People just don't go vote. And there are people who have given their lives to this. There are people who have, served, like your family as we discussed, who, served honorably in the United States military. I served in the Navy. I lost friends. There was a lot of things that happened, and it was all for those rights, those
That's
rights,
right.
those rights that we put our hand up and say we will protect. And one of them is voting. It's sacred. It's played in blood. So get out there and vote. I mean, don't be. It's going to be a little inconvenience for a minute or two. Go out and vote. Go. You get the government you participate in, people. If you don't participate, you don't got to. You don't get to say anything about it. So, anyway, Mr. Kelley, it's been great having you on. And, can you stick around after the show?
Sure.
Okay. Well, again, thank you guys. As I told you guys real quick before I close out, I did extend an open invitation on Red Oak 1 and 2 talk to any candidate that wants to come on from Red Oak. I have no preferences. I just offer information to you. So you guys take care.